So my name is Melissa or Issa Palma, and I'm 29 years old. I'm a family physician and also a public health student. I'm also a dancer and a writer and many other things. My perspective as both a professional and also as a person have kind of interacted with how I view mental health and how I also view about mental health on a population level. And for me, I think that mental health has a lot of different components. You know, it's not just the absence of depression or anxiety or other types of what we would call mental health, behavioral health conditions, but it's actually also the presence and building of wellness and resilience within ourselves and with our communities. So for me, I feel like healing comes a lot from relationships. I'm a medical physician and I'm a family doctor. And one of the reasons why I chose family medicine as opposed to other subspecialties was that the power in primary care is building relationships with people that you trust, both professionally and personally. So whether I'm treating a cough or a cold, or I'm taking care of someone's pregnancy, or if I'm helping them with their mental health condition, there's a lot of different ways that, being an active listener and being part of the support networks that people use, whether it be their friends or their family or professionals like myself, in order to access the healing and the healing that they need. Probably one of the most stressful times I ever had in my life was when I was a first-year resident and intern, and there was this constant anxiety of, these are the things you know academically from textbooks, and these are the things that are happening to real people in front of you right now. And there's always this disconnect between, if I make this wrong decision, someone could be hurt. It's not a theoretical, it's an actual fact, right? Like the things and the decisions that you make affect the health of other humans. And I think that, that constant stress of making decision after decision and having uncertainty and also, being one of the few women of color in a male-dominated field and all of these different things really, you're getting stressed when you're, come to work at, 6, 7 in the morning, and then usually it's only by noon that all that stress and that tension just builds up in your neck. And it's a really bad day if it comes at 9 a.m. And so I think for me, my biggest outlet when I, couldn't talk to a person or anything like that was dance. It was a way where I could, go and do something that brought me joy, something where I could turn off my analytical brain and just let my creative brain come up. And even though it was a way for, just an hour and a half once a month, even if that was all the time I had to go, it was something I really looked forward to, and something where, something that this was within my control. This was a community that I could join, and this was a place where I felt really happy. I think there was definitely a period of time, as a clinical person, I probably would have called myself having an episode of depression. It was during the early years of my residency, and within a very short period of time, my lolo died, my dad had a stroke, I got out of a terrible relationship that resulted in a restraining order, and my entire world kind of came crashing down. And I was pretty much working, shifting 16-hour shifts, 6 hours a day. I was sleeping in the hospital because I was getting snowed in, couldn't leave. I would just get off my shift, take off my scrubs, go in a call room, and just break down and cry. Personally, my personal life was falling apart, and professionally, all of these things were happening, and I didn't tell anyone. And I felt like a complete failure, like a complete and utter failure in everything. Like I couldn't be there for my family. Like I couldn't see what was happening at the time, like in my personal life. I couldn't do the things that I told myself, like, I've been trained to recognize this in other people, right? I've been trained to be able to be the person on the other side. Yet here I am. They say you can ask time off to have therapy, but there's no confidentiality because everyone who's going to treat you is your direct supervisor. Or there's no way for you to take off time because the time you take off for yourself means that someone else has to cover your shift, or there are patients who are not going to be seen because you're not there. Well, I, struggled for this for a long time until I had to take time off from residency. I was able to find a really great trauma-informed therapist who helped reorient myself to the fact that all of these things are not things that are your fault, or to try and, find the strength from within because everyone, has been through something, no matter what it is. That was like one of the first times in my life where I really reached out in a way that just gave me a lot of empathy for my patients, and learning how to protect other women is something that I'll always take going forward. Part of why it was so hard for me to start asking for what I needed is because as a woman or as a person who, in Filipino culture, you don't want to make waves, you don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. And I was really uncomfortable asking for intellectually what I knew I would prescribe to any patient, right, who is in my same situation. And so I think for me, being able to learn to advocate for myself the same way that I try to advocate for other people was really important. Yeah, I think something that I really hope that our community can take from, the different storytellers to this project, or even this awareness that mental health is something that is so very common. Over 1 in 4 people in their lifetime will have some kind of mental health condition, and it's not always forever, right? Just like with anything, there's a spectrum, there's an ebb and flow to how people's mental health and wellness are experienced by them and experienced by others in the community. So if, you're talking with your titas and titos and you're afraid to tell them that, this has been going on in my life, or I've been going through this very hard time, I think that one thing, the language that we all speak with each other, is a language of love, and just being able to give, receive, and accept love from others and from ourselves is something that I think is applicable to anyone, no matter what their mental health situation.